So you can still hear me?
We're live.
Oh, okay. I thought it was after the countdown.
People can hear us.
Cool. I like all that. Doesn't let me share though until we actually come on. So give me about 5 seconds after it comes on.
And we're live.
Oh, are we?
We are. We are definitely live. It looks like we already got a viewer on here. So welcome to Ghost 4 through 13 Entertainment. We're obviously here to bring updated media information on horror films, everything related to both indie productions and just talking. But Andy, if you want to go ahead, why don't you go ahead and talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah. So we're here to talk all things horror. Gonna have some great guests. We have an awesome one today. A lot of people like to talk to this guy. I want to kind of pick his brain and talk about his new movie, The Dead Place. So let's take a look at the trailer before we bring him on here, just to see what it's all about.
Perfect.
Shout out to Jeremy Dixon for his Dead of Winter production.
You would not survive in this house without me for a year.
I'll be lucky to survive the weekend doing house repairs with these two knuckleheads. Boys!
Can we start with you telling me if you see someone behind you? Something.
Why didn't you tell me about the funeral?
I'm hearing a voice.
Are you hearing them right now? How you doing? I'm the new kid.
I've seen these ghouls before, but this one's different. I mean, it walks and talks. It's like it forgot that it was dead.
Are you now, or have you ever been under the influence of hallucinogenic drugs?
You're not listening. You think this is frightening for me?
Violence is not always the answer, but sometimes it is.
Pretty good, man.
Fantastic, man. Well,
Yeah.
Anyway, now that we've shown the trailer, shall we bring on the man himself?
Yeah, let's bring on the writer, director of The Dead Place himself, Michael Pickle.
All righty.
Welcome, sir.
Hey guys.
Welcome.
How you guys
Doing
Good, man.
great, doing great.
So the first thing I want to ask is, how's life been since the release of the movie? Has there been like a lot of weight lifted off your shoulders as far as getting it out there and getting reviews back and stuff?
It was a big weight lifted off my shoulders, and then an unexpected funk, like a dark cloud flew over my head, and I'm just now getting rid of it now. I don't know where that dark cloud came from. I guess it's a culmination of 3 years of work and so much work before that. It just didn't seem real, and then when it became real, it was I started feeling uncertain again, and I don't know. It's a really weird experience, especially for an emotional person to put out a movie. Let's put it that way.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah, I completely understand that. So that being said, why don't you talk to us about the process of what inspired you to create The Dead Place and choose filming as a medium for your art?
Well, I was inspired to write The Dead Place and become a filmmaker around the same time, around 2007, 2008. I had a real life experience in a haunted asylum, and it's you can see it in my origin story video that was on it's on YouTube right now. You just type in Dead Place origin story. But a friend of mine went into this haunted asylum, and there was orbs flying around and disembodied moaning everywhere. Uh, there was growling in the basement and everything. So that wasn't even the frightening experience. That was fun. It was when I got home, it was frightening. I had I described having that dark cloud over my head. It was like that, but 10 times worse. I just felt like I was going to die or somebody around me was going to die. It was just this unbearable sense of dread. And then a friend showed up at my house that I hadn't seen in months, and he started saying he didn't even know I had gone to a haunted place. He just started saying, I just started thinking about you exploring haunted places, and I started thinking maybe what if you find what you're looking for? Are you prepared for that? He started talking like that, and it's just all this weird stuff was happening. And then I went to sleep that night, and I went to sleep in my daughter's bed because when I came home, my daughter was laying in bed with my wife. So I went and laid in my daughter's bed, and I woke up the next morning, and there were demons in my bed just screaming in my face. But when I first woke up, I just heard voices all around the bed, and then just voices out of nowhere. There was nothing there. And then when I'd close my eyes, I would see myself laying on an exam table and people around me discussing me. So when I tried to put it out of my mind, and my wife heard the ruckus, she heard me like talking to these people, trying to get them to stop. And then she came into the room, and these demons just started screaming in my face. And it was almost like I was being shown the most frightening image that could be conjured. It was right in my face. So when my wife came in, she left the room. And I couldn't hear her over the voices, so she didn't know what to do. So she left the room and got a Bible. And when she came back in, they stopped, and then nothing like that has happened since. So that shook me so bad. It just started me thinking about this idea for the Dead Place, and the idea was actually for the Dead Place, which is the asylum that Isaac ends up in. Spoiler alert. but
Oh, yeah.
I had this uh, vision of things that would go down with these characters in this asylum. So the Dead Place Part One is the journey of these characters to get to that asylum, and then you'll see what goes down in the asylum in Part Two.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, that's a pretty inspiring story, especially when it's actually happening to you. You can put it on paper and bring it up to real life. So that's super cool.
Yeah, yeah. I was in a metal band, and we were playing all around Southern California, and we were doing okay. But right when that happened, I just quit the band and became a filmmaker because uh, I wrote the script. It was about 150 pages. All three parts of the story were in it, and I just became so consumed with it that I quit the band. And because I knew that I couldn't, as a beginner, uh, make a movie like this of this scope. So then over the years, I learned more and more, and as I learned, I realized that I needed to split it into a trilogy that explored three different themes. So now I can explore them in three different movies and explore those themes one at a time, because it was way too much of a shift in tone at first.
I can imagine. Was it a huge transition for you to go from music to film?
Not as much as I thought it would be, because I was a lyricist first. I was a a poet and a storyteller first. I used to write little stories and poems and stuff. So when I got with the band, uh, that was kind of an extension of my poetry, where the band would play some music, and then whatever it would bring something to mind that I wrote. So I just flip through my poetry book and just pull it out. So I've always been a storyteller, and I've always been visual. I've always tried to put a visual medium into our music too. Um, and trying to do videos and stuff. And that's another reason why I left the band, because I was trying to do more visual stuff, and the guys were really resisting it. They were just, let's just go out in t-shirt and jeans and play shows. They didn't believe in like creative videos and stuff like that. So they kept flaking on the shoots and stuff that we did. So that was one of the reasons why I left the band. That we just weren't on the same page. But that when I got that idea and started wanting to become a filmmaker, that solidified it. Then I left. And by the way, filmmaking is much more. It's just as stressful as music was, but it's more gratifying to me. It's more fulfilling to me as a medium.
Yeah, that's cool, man. So I'm kind of curious. I've heard a little bit about the story, but given David's fame in like the Terrifier series, how did it come to fruition that you wanted him as your lead as the new kid in this new, upcoming possible trilogy of your movie?
Well, I had a few others in mind. I hadn't even thought about David, and I thought he was actually a little old for the role. But then when I talked to David on our podcast, that changed it. He seems to have a youthful spirit about him,
Mhm.
and he just seemed like he could embody that attitude that the new kid had. So when he came on our podcast, he was nice enough to come on our podcast. My fellow producer James Rivera and I had a podcast. He was kind enough to come on when we barely had any listeners. So he came on, and once I started talking to him and warmed up to him and found out that he had a theater background, you could see it. I'm going to post it one day. That excerpt from the interview, you can see the light bulb go off in my head when I'm talking to David. When he starts talking about his theater background and how he does different voices, the light bulb just went off. I said, "What if this guy is the new kid?"
That's
So
great.
after that, it was just about convincing him, and he was a little easier to get a hold of then because he had only done part one, and there was a bunch of hype around one, and they were preparing to do two, and I just had a feeling that two was going to blow up. I just knew it was. So so we got him before he finished part two and put it out. So I started by telling him a little bit about the character, just whetting his appetite, just tell him different little intriguing things about what the new kid was all about. And then once I had his interest, then I sent him the script, and he loved the script, so it was all history after that.
Kismet, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome. So tell us about the actual process of production. Like, in your opinion, what was the hardest thing to tackle to get this whole thing started?
One of the hardest things is just getting it going, period, through all the crowdfunding. By the way, the crowdfunding ended up being more successful than I thought it would be. So we ended up, I thought I was going to have to scale the movie way down, but then when we got the budget we got, which ended up being about 150,000, I seen that we were going to be able to. I mean, I went ahead and went wide with the scope, but I knew we weren't going to have the budget to go with it. But I'm just always a filmmaker like that. I take the budget I have and I stretch the shit out of it. I'm not a minimalist type of filmmaker. I did the minimal stuff back when I was doing no budget. But once you give me a budget, I'm going to squeeze the shit out of it, and I'm going to make it look like double that budget. So uh, it's still really low budget, but it's the highest I've worked with so far, and I was able to get my vision on screen. Yes, it's rough. Yes, you can tell it's low budget at times, but I got my vision on that screen, and that's the proudest thing for me. And thanks to this cast and everybody I worked with.
Yeah, that's awesome.
You're welcome. So as far as well, we kind of spoiled that, but as far as part two goes, it's written, you have an idea for it, you have a drive for it. Do you potentially see this as being even better than the first one, as far as character development, storyline, and things like that?
Well, the way it was first written, I split them into a trilogy, and then I expanded each one of the parts. So then when I first wrote them, I was really proud of the first one, but two was better than one, and three was better than all of them. But then we jumped into the script, and Steve Deering did script coverage on it. He did like the John Wick movies and Darkest Hour with Gary Oldman. He did a bunch of really good movies like that. So he just sparked a whole other part of my imagination. And I was able to expand on certain characters, like the little girl character. I expanded on her character, and she's going to become more of a factor throughout the trilogy. So I just kind of once we rewrote part one and really concentrated on fine tuning it, it became better than the other two. So now I just have to go back with Steve and do that same treatment on part two and three, and then bring those up to where it's just epic. So I and I won't give any spoilers, but I will say that I want two to be the introspective one, the one where everything in part one was leading to. You're going to see it in part two, but then three is just going to be an out of this world, insane, batshit, bloody, just a bloodbath from beginning to end. So prepare for part three.
That sounds exciting. That sounds great. Was there a favorite moment that you had while you were on set and directing?
I had two favorite moments. Is when I was filming the argument between the parents when they were talking about Isaac and talking about whether to put him in an asylum or not. That scene was really important to me, and then the scene in the classroom where Isaac first sees the new kid. Now, when we were filming the one with the parents arguing, we did two or three takes, and then that third take, it just hit me. I knew that that's what I pictured in my head. I was watching in front of my eyes. So I started crying right after the clip, and I tried to turn my head and where nobody could see the tears coming out of my eyes. And then Susie came over and she gave me a hug. She said, "We got him, guys. We got him." So we must have done something right. We got him. And then in the classroom, that's probably the biggest full circle moment for me, and the the one that stuck out the most in my mind, because you have to understand, up to that point it was 15 years I had lived with this in my mind, and I could picture it so clearly, the way that New Kid interacted with Isaac and how it went down and everything, and it was so carbon copy of what was in my head. And just to see that come alive on in front of the camera, I was just beside myself. It was so fulfilling as an artist.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. So I wanted to ask you, being an actor myself, and doing these a lot, as a director, like what kind of like personality, character traits, and different things go into how you cast your roles for your movies? Is there like a specific thing that you look for in a person when you do this, or what's your
Well,
mindset going into that?
one thing I don't look for is character actors who do a bunch of different characters. I look for someone where their personality kind of embodies that character. That's what
Mhm.
helps me picture them the most. So I look for someone that feels like that character, and then we go from there. I rely a lot on personality, and if you're a natural actor, if you do an audition for me and it comes out natural, then I know I can do pretty much anything with you. That's the main thing I need to see, if you're natural. But after once I see that you're natural, I just want to see how in tune you are with that character, and how much you can embody that character, and how much you see of yourself in there. Like our two main leads, the reason why they love their roles so much is because they see themselves so much in their roles. And I didn't even realize that until after I cast them, that they had both been through bullying situations.
Oh,
So that they really
I didn't know that.
connected
Yeah.
with that.
that would make sense. I mean, if they resonate with the characters, that's a perfect role for what you're looking for. That being said, can you talk more about like how you got involved with Idris? How was he chosen for your lead?
Well, uh, James and I said we sent out the casting notice, and we got about 240 something submissions. So we just sat there going through one after another, and we'd put one. Oh, that one was okay. We put it in a pile. That one was okay. Put it in a pile. And then some of them were just, they just weren't right for it at all. Just like 40-year-old people coming in trying to trying to play a
Yeah.
high school student. But we went through so many and then once we put Idris on, I'll never forget the moment. James and I put it on, and he got through his first couple lines, and James and I both just looked at each other in amazement. We just knew right away. I was, "Oh my God, did we just find Isaac?" And we knew it was him right away, but went ahead and watched the rest just to see. But
Yeah.
he was it. He was it right away.
Ah, that's awesome.
Yeah. So like, is
And then
there? No, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I'm
and
sorry.
he was from New Jersey, so that was the only thing that wasn't that character for me. So then we had the dilemma of, do we have him keep his New Jersey accent? Do we have him try to do a regular accent, like a California accent like the other actors, or do we make the other actors do the New Jersey accent? I decided in the end it just best. I wanted everybody to be as natural as possible, so I just left Idris with the New Jersey accent. There's been a couple people to comment on it, but I don't think it's too distracting.
Yeah, I can understand that. Well, with any production, there's always going to be issues or problems. Not to take you down the road of bad memories, but are there any production issues that you like to share and things that you might have learned from them?
One thing I learned is to be extra diligent with SAG and stay on top of them. And I realized too late in the game that we had a bad rep. We had a bad representative from SAG because they almost got the production shut down.
Oh wow.
They charged us like 200% SAG deposit when they were only supposed to charge us 40. So that almost shut us down. They told us to get a stunt performer and studio teachers and all this. So we got people with credentials, and then we sent them into SAG. Said, we just want you to approve these to production. Will you approve these? Will you approve these for weeks? And then we were just about to film, and they contacted us, say, no, you not only need a professional stuntman, he needs to be paid at least this many thousands per day, and you need set teachers, and they need to be approved by us. And I said, yes, we've been trying to get our studio teachers approved by you. So we ended up having like 3 studio teachers that were professional studio teachers. So just stuff like that was probably the biggest challenge. And then flakes. I had a few flakes that were whether they were on camera or DIT, which is loading the cards off the camera into the computer, just stuff like that. Set decorators. There were just so many people like that that would just flake at the last minute, and then we were scrambling in the last 2 weeks. So there was so many. Those last 2 weeks were pure hell. I didn't because for 2 weeks straight, I didn't think the movie was going to happen. And at one point, I was catatonic. I was curled up in a ball on my couch, not moving and not saying anything to anybody. The makeup artist, Robert Bravo, he lives 50 miles away. He drove all the way down here to try to talk me down.
Oh, that's awesome.
But
That's
I went through so much that I didn't think I was going to be able to film the movie. I got really scared because I was burned out before we even started. But then I did some meditation. I have these meditation exercises that I've been doing for years, and I tried to stay in practice of them, and I got out of practice. But then when I was in trouble mentally leading into the movie, I meditated for a while, and boy, did that save my life. And I meditated every morning of the production, and I was just good to go the whole production. So meditation definitely saved my life on that one.
that's awesome.
Yeah,
Is there
cool, man.
any other ways you'd suggest to manage unexpected things? I mean, obviously you suggested meditation, but any other ways to be like, oh, let's keep on the goal here?
Well, just preparation. You could even take a year, months and months to just, you don't have to get a whole lot done every day. Just start like a year before, a few months before. Just do something to prepare every single day and anticipate everything that could possibly go wrong, because at least 75% of the things you think are going to go wrong are going to go wrong.
Right. Do you remember the cop that was there at the school? He did not seem like he wanted to be there at all.
No, that was one of the things that hurt us. That guy he cost almost $3,000. And that was another thing we didn't expect. So we had rented the school, went through the whole process, paid for it. We rented 3 nights. We were supposed to come there on weekends while school was still in session. We were to come there on the weekends and film 3 days. And then right before we were going to film, they said, "Oh, there was a school shooting in some other state, so now you need a cop there while you're filming at the school." I said, "Well, but school's not in session." "Oh yeah, we know, we just don't want anybody walking up in there while you're filming." I was like, "Okay." So they made us get the cop, and then the cop, my wife was so mad at him because he stayed by the snack table the whole night, just gorging on the snacks.
Yeah,
And then-
he was just sitting in that chair, like doing nothing. It's like,
Yeah.
And
And
then
then
he wasn't doing that. He was just hanging out in his car. And that's
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah. And on top of that, we were supposed to finish filming at 11, and we had this really important hallway scene that we needed to film, and we had 2 hours, and we had all these setups to do in 2 hours, and we were panicking. Oh, what are we gonna do? All of a sudden, my first AD, Laura Aitken, comes up to me and she says, "The cop says we have to shut down." I said, "Oh hell no, we don't." So I went
Right.
and talked to him, and his paperwork said the wrong dates, the wrong times. So he was supposed to be out of there by 9. But I told him, "Hell no, we're not leaving." So I had to pull up my emails and my confirmation paperwork and show him that he was supposed to be there till 11. So
Jeez, what a headache. I mean, did he at least apologize, or he was just like whatever? Or
no, not at all. He acted like he was doing a favor.
Oh,
So,
okay.
all right, I guess I'll stay extra.
yeah, he was kind of weird. I remember him sitting in that chair for like ever, and then we were filming like the hallway scenes, and all of a sudden he's like creeping over there trying to look in the window. It's like, get out of here, buddy. You didn't like the movie the rest of the time, so.
Yeah.
But
There was all kinds of little surprises like that were thrown at us.
is there something on set, as the director leading the entire set, where it just bothers you so much that people do this and you want to like tell them to stop, but it's just like you can't?
Well, no, not on this one, because I mentioned my first AD, Laura Aitken. This is actually the first time I've had a first assistant director. So she really took up the slack and handled anything like that I would have normally been annoyed by.
Mhm.
So she really took care of everything. And I know she's a good first AD because I told everybody, because she came up and bugged the crap out of me every second, and it didn't bother me.
Right.
So if somebody's bugging the shit out of you and they don't bother you, they're doing their job right.
Yeah,
Because that's her job, is to bug me and keep me on schedule.
Right.
oh, that's great. Speaking of the hallway scene, was that like a lucky find just because of the school, or did you already have like that narrow long hallway shot in mind before doing that?
No, actually, that was one of the things that came up during the crowdfunding campaign, and it's funny to me because it ends up working so well for the movie, and it shows not only a freaky little scene where you get to see the new kid killing people, you get to see a glimpse into the psychosis of Isaac and what these entities are doing to him. So I definitely wanted the school, and I wanted those long hallways, but not necessarily for that shot. I just wanted them in general. And then, but it took a while for us to find those, because I didn't know until we started filming this that there's no schools like that in Southern California anymore. They all took out their lockers, I guess because of the shootings and stuff, and kids having stuff in their lockers.
Oh
So it
wow,
took me forever, and I had to find one in Burbank. So
yeah.
that was a Burbank school I had to find. And the one that's the exterior shots of the school are Whittier High School here in Whittier, and that was going to be too expensive. I don't know how a school in Burbank was less expensive than Whittier, but probably because the one in Whittier was Back to the Future was filmed there,
Oh,
and some other
yeah,
movies.
that makes sense. Interesting. Huh.
Yeah.
That's something I
I
didn't
feel
even
like I feel like this is a good time to do our trivia question. We're going to call it Stump the Guest.
Okay.
So this is going to be about the Dead Place. You can read it on there. What's the total body count of the people that were killed in the hallway dream sequence?
I know
5.
Oh,
Yeah, we had to think about it too. We were like, we were trying to go through all the things, all the different actors that we met through on stages, and obviously the film itself. But that really is, in my opinion, such an iconic scene. Just that hallway and the school itself and the classroom, and that's where Labs and us got to go and be a part of your ghost team on there, which was a lot of fun, mind you.
especially watching David in action, just with his, the weird walk that he had, just going up to people and taking them out. It was cool to see.
Well, it was also fun too because he had fun messing with people. Like I remember one time I don't remember who I was. That might have even been talking to Adina, Michael. And as I was doing that in the background, David was like, shh, and sneaking up behind everybody just to do a boo,
Yeah. And he would cut up and act silly like that right until I yelled action, and then he would just switch right into that evil character.
like a switch. I think one of my favorites when they were gearing up for Wildcat Parker scene, there was a clip that somebody had shared that they had filmed, was he was there with his knife, kind of like a professional baseball player doing practice swings, but instead of a bat, he's using a knife, like.
Yeah.
So I see that Counselor Carl Cunningham has joined the chat, so let's give him a little shout out. He was in the Dead Place as well, so good to see you,
Carl. Good to see you. Welcome to the stream.
Yeah. Carl's got the scene with the CG blood spray that I've gotten a hard time, that people give me a hard time about.
Oh.
But I deliberately put that in there because I wanted it to be different from the rest of the movie. I wanted it to look a little fake. I wanted it to look a little off. So that's why I left that in there.
That's awesome.
Cool.
Do you mind if I share a little snippet from Andy and I from that scene? Because
Sure.
when we were ghosts, and Andy can back me up on this, we were all sitting there in the classrooms, and we had those old-fashioned desks, which was awesome, by the way. I don't think I've ever seen some of those desks in a long time. And I know that you were directing us to kind of like keep an eye on Isaac and just kind of walk towards him. And during that process, when you called action, poor old Carl moved forward and nailed his knee really hard on one of the desks. But he was fine. But he under his breath was like, and just kind of kept rolling with the scene and the action on that. But that was a really hilarious one because everybody was like trying not to break out laughing or make sure, and he was okay. But it was just a really, really funny moment that I always think of every time I watch the movie now.
Oh man.
I remember being behind him, and when he did that, I said out loud, I'm like, well, that's not going to make the movie.
I love that moment when David's walking between the desks and he picks up that one student's pen and he just tosses it over his shoulder. It goes way up by the ceiling and then lands right in the little trash can next to the teacher's desk. and everybody got really distracted.
Yeah, I don't want to ruin my other scene, but I think it turned out really well. So unless it was edited, but we'll let the people find that out for themselves.
Yeah, that's great. Andy, is there anything else you want to share memory-wise from that set experience and something we can talk about?
Man, it was so. I always wanted to get into a horror movie and do acting. That's like something I've wanted to do since like forever. And this is the first movie that I've ever done. And so it was really cool. I went and did the ghost thing, and then had a blast on set. Just being around the set was fun and meeting everybody. And eventually became good friends with Michael, and he was looking for somebody for another part. And like a year after that, I went back out there and we filmed it, and I was just kind of hooked by then. So I owe like a huge debt of gratitude to him for giving me my first opportunity. So now I just I have a lot going on, and if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't even be doing this. But so I appreciate that, man. Thank you.
I'm glad to hear that. I love that you came back out and filmed that scene, and you got to do more acting in that second scene. And I think you're really funny in that scene too, by the way.
Yeah, it was pretty weird because I remember all the blood that I had on me. Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
And I wanted to take a shower right away, but the next scene that you guys were filming was my girlfriend in the shower.
Yeah.
So basically, I had to sit there in sticky, wet blood for about 2 hours, and then, but it was worth it. It was fun.
Yeah, I do want to thank you again, Michael. It was such an unusual experience because I didn't plan on it. I actually only knew this thanks to James. I randomly was on a website talking about Hellraiser, and I posted some sort of comment on it. He responded. We ended up kind of like getting to know each other, and he was a great guy. And that's when he told me about the Dead Place. And I remember flying up to Burbank. I was a little scared because hopefully this isn't sharing too much, but the shooting date was April 1st. So I was like, wouldn't this be the worst joke to land there and there's nobody doing anything?
Yeah.
The first person I ended up meeting was Montavious and his wife Sarah. They were great. After that, I ended up with Andy and Tom Stanek. So shout out to everybody there. And I'll never forget that the day of the shooting, it was Carl who was kind enough. He had a car rental, and we all piled into his car like a giant clown car, because the set wasn't very far from where we were staying. And I think that was my first memory of meeting you, is that we rolled up on the scene and he put it in park and the doors opened and we all like fell out of the car. 7 people were like, hey, but my perspective, I got to say, like, the set felt safe. It was welcoming. It was a great environment just to get people to meet each other. I really wasn't expecting David to be so involved. I thought maybe that was something where he'd be kept separate from others, but he wasn't. He hung out with everybody. He was welcome. Carrie and Rodney were there, also helping and meeting with everybody. So it was a fantastic experience, and really, really give you accolades and thanks for letting us both be a part of that.
Well, I feel really blessed that it was such a family atmosphere, and it continues to be.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. So, is there anything you can tell us about the potential sequel? Anything else that you might want to share there?
No, just that I'm working on it, and I'm working on that final treatment of part 2. And I think everybody's going to really like this one. I'll go ahead and tell everybody this one's going to be my One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest horror version.
That's a great thing.
And you're going to see a lot more of Dr. Bryn. You're going to get answers of exactly what Dr. Bryn's all about, because he's pretty shady in part 1, but it never explores what he's all about. So you're going to be able to see what everything that Dr. Bryn is up to in part 2. You're going to get to see more New Kid. New Kid's going to become more of a force to reckon with, because as the trilogy goes on, him and the entity get more and more powerful. You're going to see more of the little girl. You're going to some people have said that they didn't get enough of the story of the little girl, so you'll get her story in part 2. So lots of stuff to look forward to in the story.
That's really exciting.
And also, Michael told me I was taking over for David too, so I got that going for me.
Oh, and
I'm gonna be the old kid. Yeah.
And by the way, there's potential for pretty much everybody that was in part 1. There's a potential for pretty much everybody to return, because even the people that were killed, they could come back and haunt Isaac. So look out for anybody that was killed in part 1 to pop up in part 2.
That's awesome. I mean, we're always welcome to help, no matter what.
Cool.
Speaking of the entity, what was it like working with Bill Oberst?
Oh, I love Bill Oberst. I've been friends with him ever since the start of my career. When I started my career, I started doing festivals and stuff because I just wanted to inject myself into the genre. So I started going to festivals and conventions and stuff, and I became a journalist for different horror websites and stuff. So I met Bill at one of the first ones I went to, and then I talked to him about possibly hosting the show that James and I were doing, Pickle's Horror Show. We were doing it on Roku, and I wanted him to be the host. It was supposed to be like a horror variety show, kind of like SNL, but not live, where we do a bunch of skits and stuff, but for horror fans. And then Bill Oberst Jr. is supposed to be like the Rod Serling type of host,
Oh, that's cool.
but he's the type of host that comes out and says the audience better watch every week, or you're going to come to their house and kill them. So So I had him audition for it, but there was no money at the time, so it was deferred pay. So his manager jumped all down my throat for even requesting Bill Oberst Jr. But I remained friends with Bill, and he really liked my writing on that monologue that I wrote for him. So he's been a fan, watching my stuff over the years, wanting to work with me again. And so his manager hit me up, and it was a whole different story this time. From the last time I talked to him, it was a kind of a humiliating experience, kind of reprimanding me for wanting Bill Oberst Jr. But this time he was very kind, very accommodating, wanting to know if there was any parts available for anybody, and he asked if there was a part for Bill, and I said, well, I was still searching for the entity. I wanted, someone with gravitas in their voice, So I
Yeah.
was looking for someone, and I said, well, there's a part that I have he'd be perfect for, but I don't think we can afford him. So he said, well, Bill speaks highly of you. He wants to work with you, so I think we can work something out. So since it was just a voiceover, we were able to work something out that we could work with. And Bill was just great about it. He read the lines, and then he called me up before we did our session, and he said, "Damn, Michael." He said, this character is evil. He said, some of those lines you had me reading they scared me.
Oh,
Is
that's
there like, now that the movie is out and it's on streaming, it's trending, it's been successful so far, it's getting a lot of press. Is there any one thing that you regret not doing during production?
No, that's the thing. A lot of filmmakers, especially with a movie this rough around the edges, they usually look back on it and they really beat themselves up over the little inconsistencies or any little thing that went wrong or anything that they wanted to do better. That's not me. I'm just so proud of it. I see the things that could have been better, but I think it's the best that it could possibly be at this point in my career with the budget that we had. So I'm very proud of it. Everything that I wanted to get out of this, I got.
that's great. During the premieres, were you nervous about anticipating the audience reaction?
Uh, I was so nervous before the initial private screening at Slasher World. That's probably the most nervous I've been so far because that was the first time anybody had seen it outside of our little circle. So I really wanted David to see it and like it. I really wanted Idris and his family to see it like us because like he brought his whole family and stuff to the red carpet premiere. I wanted Lexi and her family to love it. Just all these people that had put so much into it and so much effort, and then 3 years of waiting. It was so important to me that they loved it and they were proud of it. So I was so afraid that they were going to be disappointed. So uh, I was really nervous before that, but once I got there and saw everybody's reaction and the look on everybody's face, you know how when you do something, you can tell what people thought of it, even if they're telling you to your face that they loved it, you can kind of tell by the look on their face what they thought of it. And just seeing that genuine look of just pride and excitement on their faces, that was all that made it all great for me, and I haven't been nervous about it since, but I did go into that little funk, not sure what the future would bring, but I'm out of it now and ready to do part 2 and 3.
That's awesome. Well, we can't wait. We definitely can't wait.
So so let's get into where can people watch this? And I think you have like more showings coming up in different places if people want to go to those.
Yeah, right now we're exclusively on the Bloodstream TV app, and they have a lot of exciting things coming up. They have a ridiculous amount of movies coming up that everybody's going to be excited about. So on Bloodstream TV, we're a part of their big push. They've been around for about a year, but they really wanted to, after a year, they wanted a big push to try to be competition with Shudder. So we're part of their competition, trying to be competition for Shudder. And they're talking to some people I'm really excited about that might be coming to Bloodstream TV. So we got that, and then we came to Bloodstream TV about on June 1st, and we stayed number one trending pretty much for the first 2 weeks. And then we were so popular on there that they took away our free, so you could watch it free with commercials, but they took that away because there's so many people watching it. They took it away. Now it's subscription only, so you have to have a subscription to watch it on Bloodstream TV. So it's going to be like that until August 5th. And on August 5th, we're going to release on Amazon Prime, Fandango at Home. So pretty much all the other streaming services, it'll be available then. And then we got some theatrical showings coming up. We got one on August 1st here in Whittier. It's at Whittier Village Cinemas. So on August 1st at about 7:30, we're gonna screen at the local theater, and then afterwards we're gonna go to the bar across the street and to this bar called 6740, and I'll hand signed posters out to everyone, and I'll answer anybody's questions about the movie and stuff like that. And it's not set in stone yet. We're confirming it right now, but I'll go ahead and say it. We might be doing a run at Frida Cinema in Santa Ana for all the month of August. So they might be playing us all through the month of August in Frida Cinema. So watch out for that.
That's awesome.
That's exciting. Fantastic. Well, unrelated to your films, is there any other films that you liked this year, horror-wise, or others that you can share with?
Oh, I posted about it a while back. I'm extremely excited and extremely lucky that we came out in 2026, because not only is horror ruling the box office and ruling the movie discussions, but it's also independent films that are doing it.
Yeah.
Like Obsession and Back Rooms, and I really loved Hokum. Hokum was really good, from the director of Caveat.
Oh, that's
And
with
Audit.
Adam Scott?
Yeah, Adam Scott. Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
So a lot of good stuff. I really liked Undertone. That was really like I think that was an underrated film because it relied a lot on sound, audio, but it was really good and really creepy, and especially in the theater with really good sound. Undertone was great. So if you watch Undertone, check it out with headphones on so you can really get the sound experience. But a lot of great horrors coming out this year, and I'm extremely lucky that it does nothing but great things for the Dead Place and all indie filmmakers that independent movies are able to enjoy this type of success, especially original ones.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, I'm excited to take this to the next level and see people at conventions wearing Dead Place shirts and buying Dead Place gear and things like that. And I feel like that's something that's going to be coming up in the future for you. So I'm really proud of that.
I hope so, because it's definitely going to get more and more sensationalistic. There's going to be much more to talk about in part 2 and 3. I just really wanted to solidify the characters and get people to care about the characters in part 1 and introduce them to this world. And then now in part 2 and 3, we can really explore it. And I can't wait for everybody to see what happens in 3. You're not going to believe it.
I'm excited. I mean, without trying to ask too much on spoilers, but are we going to learn a little bit more about the new kid's backstory? Because that opening scene was killer. But it's like, what happened there? What's going on there?
Yeah, you're going to learn more about the new kid and his backstory, and more about the entity. And there's been people that want to see a prequel of what the new kid was up to before the Dead Place, and no, you don't want to see that. Nobody wants to see what the new kid was up to before this.
That's great. So, and in your opinion, do you feel like this is a great time for independent directors to get out there and try to make something new?
Yeah, especially with these indie filmmakers coming out. And I don't think it's just because they had a built-in YouTube audience. I don't think that's it. I think it also has to be a very original movie that gets people talking and gets people excited to go to the movies again. And I don't think that has a whole lot to do with their YouTube following. I think it has a lot to do with the movies that they make and the fresh voices that they're bringing to the genre.
Probably audiences are looking for something a little bit different instead of the same old thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's probably part of the issue when you're writing something. It's like, okay, have they seen this 1,000 times? How can I make this different? I want to be noticed. Like, does that go into your writing when you're trying to do something? Like, I want to do something original that nobody's seen before.
Well, it kind of automatically goes into my writing. Like even if I come up with something like bullying has been done tons of times in so many different types of movies, but I wanted to take the bullying concept and do something completely different with it. And then you've seen tons of possession films. I wanted to do a film that was a possession film that didn't feel anything like a possession film. And you've seen tons of movies with Ouija boards in it, but I wanted the Ouija board used in a different way than you've ever seen it before. So while I'm writing, I completely resist. I did the same thing when I was in music. I completely resist anything that I've seen before. The seed of the idea might come from something that inspired me, something that I've seen before. But when I'm executing it in the writing, if it feels or sounds like anything that I've seen before, I directly oppose it.
Yeah. No, and I respect that, because at least you're trying as much as you can to even take these ideas and pull as much fresh originality as you can out of them. I loved, without spoiling too much, that bit where Idris turns and faces the camera, and we've got that face that exemplifies, like, you know, the new kid. That was a really well done shot scene. And as a horror fan, although I love possession films, I kind of get tired of them because they're always kind of the same thing, you know, the writhing, the crawling up the walls, the throwing up of the pea suit. So I do have to applaud you, because that was kind of a unique aspect of your film. You're still incorporating this possession thing, but it's a whole different way to portray it, you know?
Wasn't that face after he killed somebody that may be on this stream right now?
Sorry, what was that, Andy?
That face that he made, wasn't that like after he killed somebody maybe on this stream right now?
It was right after he killed you.
Oh, well, you just ruined that.
That's right, yeah.
Nobody heard this. Delete.
Yeah. That's awesome. Well, the last question I have from you, Michael, is there, and I'm sure Andy might have one follow-up from here, is there any advice you can give to up-and-coming filmmakers to encourage them to pursue this medium?
Well, first, just make sure that you really want it, because you're gonna go through no matter how what your path looks like, it's gonna feel impossible at times, and it's gonna feel like you're spinning your wheels, and sometimes it can be for years. But if you just stay persistent and believe in yourself, and you got to be a little cocky, you know, you have to be a little cocky to think that anybody wants to watch the stories that you're putting out there. So you have to have confidence in yourself and perseverance to keep going no matter what, even if it seems like there was many times where I thought the universe was against me, because everything was lining up to perfectly derail me. But then if you keep going and keep going past those times, then it starts feeling like the universe is working for you, and that's a great feeling. Because you could go for years just thinking like everyone's against you and you'll never make it, until that one day things start going good for you, and then you'll be glad that you kept going, because you're gonna regret it if you quit and look back on what you could have done. So it's best to just dive forward straight into it and don't give up.
Don't give up.
Good advice, man, for sure. Yeah, I don't really have any more questions that I need to know. If you got anything else, let me know.
I think that's about it. All we can say, though, is, Michael, thank you for joining us today. I mean, this is our first episode. It's such an honor to have you here. And a shout out to everybody out there. If you haven't seen it, please go ahead and catch The Dead Place. As you can see, it's on bloodstreamtv.com. And of course, we can anticipate the sequels to come from there.
Yeah, and I just kind of want to say, you know, I appreciate him more than he knows for giving me my chance in acting, and I'm looking forward to whatever else we can do together. And we love you, man. We appreciate it, and we want you to keep going. And we're looking forward to whatever we can do. So thanks for coming on here.
I want to thank you both so much for having me on and giving me the honor of being the first guest. And I think you guys are going to go a long way with the horror discussion and mixing it with the interviews and stuff. I'm really proud of Travis for going ahead and making his own production company, and making his own movie. Really proud of you, Andy, for going out there. You just started tearing it up after The Dead Place. It's
Yeah,
like
he
you're a veteran already.
Yeah, right?
Trying, yeah.
Well, a cheers to all of us, you know?
For sure. Proud of you guys.
We're proud of you too, Michael. And again, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Whoops, sorry about that.
We'll see you next week, guys.
And then maybe till the next one. All right, guys. Well, thank you for joining in. Is there anything else you want to say to sign off, Andy?
Just thanks, everybody, from Ghost 13 Entertainment. We'll see you next Wednesday.
Yeah, Ghost 13 and 4 and 4 and 13 signing off until the next one. Thanks, everybody. Have a great night.